This is the Southwest Outdoors Report, powered by your Texas Chevy dealers.
Some of my best memories growing up revolved around the annual springtime white bass migration up creeks and rivers to spawn all around our region. Hi everybody, I'm Barry Stokes and welcome into your Southwest Outdoors Report, powered by Chevy this week, and we are right in the middle of the spring white bass spawn in the central southern parts of our region. The white bass are beginning to run up the creeks and rivers. If you draw an east-west line right across the middle part of our region, anywhere south of that line, we have whites in the middle of their spring spawning run. Now, they're not happening yet in the state of Oklahoma or Arkansas for the most part, but that again is on the way. We'll talk about the factors involved that draw those white bass up the tributaries on today's episode. I'd like to welcome you in right now to the beautiful Nolan River, which is an upper northern tributary of the Brazos River system above Lake Whitney. Lots of white bass will feed from Lake Whitney up the Brazos. Some will branch off into the main branch of the Brazos River, but others will come here into the Nolan to spawn. Now, there are lots of places around our region where you can do the same thing for those spawning whites this coming weekend. In the meantime, we go around the region. Our team of reporters has your very latest fishing and lake reports, including Bill Olson down on the Texas Gulf Coast, Cajun Phil and Kevin over in Louisiana, Gary Dollahan in the state of Oklahoma, and Brian Hughes is standing by with your freshwater fishing reports from the state of Texas. We've got your Lawrence Hot Lake of the Week. I've got the Barry's Reel fishing feature, a crappie fishing feature for you in river systems as well. A lot to do on this week's episode. We get it all kicked off back at the FSN studios, where Heather has your Chevy weekend planner.
According to the Saloon tables, the best times to find active fish this weekend are late in the afternoon. Peak times will be from 4:30 to 6:30 on Saturday and from 5:30 to 7:30 on Sunday. The sun will rise at 7:15 in the morning and set around 7:45 p.m. We had a full moon on Tuesday and it will still be about 90% illuminated over the weekend. Now back to our fearless leader, Barry Stokes.
White bass need a couple of major things to happen in order to effectively spawn across our region. Number one, they need rising water temperatures above 55 degrees, and we have that across the southern parts of our region. Secondly, they need current, they need water flow in the creeks and rivers, and because of all the rainfall and all the record snowfall, we have that as well. It's going to be a good white bass spawn this year, and it's going to be happening over the next 2 to 3 weeks from south to north across our region. Get out and catch you some for your freezer. Stay with us. When we come back, Gary Dollahan has your Oklahoma fishing and lake reports, and I'll have your Lawrence Hot Lake of the Week with a catfishing special.
This is the Southwest Outdoors Report, powered by your Texas Chevy dealers.
Oh, man, he slammed it. Little male white. Come in here. All right, well, that's enough to get it started right there. And he hit a little Bobby Garland slab slayer in a little bright red color. White bass in red in springtime can be a killer deal. That is a little male. Back he goes. And as I mentioned, we're fishing here on the far upper reaches of Lake Whitney. They run up both the Brazos and the Nolan River arms here. But as I also mentioned, there are lots of places, hundreds of them, all over our region where you can do the same kind of thing and where the white bass are teeming. Places like the Sabine River above Toledo Bend, the Angelina above Sam Rayburn, the Trinity above Lake Livingston, the Colorado above Lake Buchanan, and as we mentioned right here, the Brazos River, both above Lake Granbury and Lake Whitney, and lots more places all around our region. They're going to be getting more active further north in our region as the water continues to warm. Right now, let's go further north up to Oklahoma. Here's Gary Dollahan with the Sooner Beat.
Well, the calendar says it's spring, but we're still seeing the results of a long, cold winter here in Oklahoma, and we're tired of it. Our lakes are probably still a full 4 weeks behind what they should be right now, water temperature-wise, with most of them in the upper 40s, lower 50s. A few more days like this sunshine, that's going to increase a lot, and any day our fishing can bust wide open. But for right now, Guys who are targeting crappie, some of the early reports are coming in from the usual places like Eufaula, Canton, Caw, and the best success has really been around 10 to 16 foot of water, fishing in the big schools of shad with small crappie bait, slow trolling with a trolling motor. White bass are starting to position some. We're getting some reports of them starting to move into the spawning areas in the rivers above the lakes, such as Gibson and Tin Killer. And I understand that Pine Creek's got some pretty good white bass activity right now. The catfish, look in the flats, 4 to 6 foot of water, also in the creek channels. The big creek channels, watch for gulls, working shad. And in the case of bass, this is a great time of the year to catch a really big bass. From now to the next 4 to 5 weeks, that's when the biggest bass are usually caught each year. There was a 13-pounder caught just a few days ago in Longmire near Paul's Valley, and a 9-pounder was caught in the Eufaula tournament just a few days ago, and a 6-pound smallmouth caught on a Hoodaddy creature bait. The weather is getting good, the fishing is getting better. You can't catch them if you don't go, so we'll see you on the water.
On this week's Lowrance Hot Lake of the Week, I've got a little bonus for you Southeast Texas catfishermen. You know, the late winter this year has made the catfishing even better going into the spring than it normally is. Lots of huge blue catfish have been caught the past couple of weeks, and some good channel catfish as well. So one of the hot spots in our region is down in Southeast Texas, north of Houston, at Lake Livingston. Let's show it to you now on the Lowrance HDS-10 with the Insight shaded relief mapping as an option. Livingston is 90,000 surface acres with a max depth of 77 feet. It is an old lake impounded in 1969. It's very turbid with normally stained or murky water color. The lake records for catfish, the channel catfish record 14 pounds, and the blue cat record over 71 pounds. We switch now to the Navionics Hot Maps Platinum software for all the lake bottom contour and detail. And by the way, they've changed those cards this year, and now you get even more lakes, all of our region, on one card for one price. Now, we show you here that Livingston is mostly an open water lake with little offshore cover. We zoom again to the lower end of the lake to see the main Trinity River channel snaking down the middle of the lake. There are tons of catfish being caught off that channel, 30 feet of water on these deep flats off that main Trinity River channel. Both sides of the river have been good, from the Highway 190 bridge down to the island. So check out Lake Livingston for a good catfishing trip this coming weekend. That's this week's Lowrance Hot Lake of the Week. Stay with us. When we come back in just a minute, we'll have Cajun Phil and Kevin with your Louisiana fishing report, and on Barry's Real Fishing, it's a crappie fishing special.
The Southwest Outdoors Report, powered by your Texas Chevy dealers, is brought to you by quality award-winning Tracker boats. Fish the finest. By Lowrance, makers of the HDS, high-definition systems. And by Jean LaRue Lures and Bobby Garland Baits, quality soft plastic baits made in Oklahoma with American pride.